Hey y'all, so welcome back Sproutlings. I am here with a swap video, so something that I have personally taken from a traditional plastic version to a reusable or sustainable swap. Okay, so one of the simplest ones, in my opinion, is a bamboo toothbrush, and it's also kind of how some other people start their journey. Some of the typical ways you start on this journey is reusable straw, reusable bags, reusable water bottle, or this, which is a bamboo toothbrush. And yes, it's been used this morning, so it's kind of a little damp still. But with that being said, it's definitely one of those things that it's easier to find now. And so that's why it starts the journey, and also because it doesn't take as much getting used to. It's not like getting used to reusable products that you're used to throwing away and getting over that ick factor, or harder to keep up with. Like reusable napkins, obviously you have to dedicate the time to wash them and whatever. This isn't like that because of the fact that you're gonna replace your toothbrush every 3 months anyways. So for me, I personally use Brush with Bamboo. Will it? Maybe? There we go. And yes, I have like a pen etched in for B2. My brother's name is also B, and we both have them. So, and my dad's B, so he's B1, I'm B2, my brother's B3 because he's the youngest. So that's what that is. Disclaimer. No, they don't come with this etched in for any reason. It's just what we have to be able to do in my bathroom so we don't confuse them. Which is a really simple thing. For me, it wasn't a big change, really. I was like, oh, cool, whatever. I know some people are scared of splintering because it is a bamboo wood. I've never personally had a splinter issue. I've never known anyone to have a splinter issue. The only, issue I have is at the very beginning of a new one. Brush with Bamboo is the only bamboo toothbrush that has a bio-based bristle. So I can't remember if they're now compostable or if they're just bio-based instead of being nylon still. But it's plant castor oil, so I think it's compostable. Don't quote me on that. Maybe Brush with Bamboo will see this and remind me of what it is. But with that being said, I've kind of found that at the very beginning of using them new, it kind of peels and I kind of feel it in my mouth, but not icky. It kind of feels like a mixture of water with a gel type of thing. That's the only con I've had. I've been using it for, it was one of my first swaps in August of 2019, so a year and a half, and I've gone to 3 dental visits between then and now. I actually started using it when I still had braces. I have not had a cavity with it because I know that's another concern. Does it reach? I've never had a cavity with that at all. And coming from having braces and not getting cavities, that's actually a really big thing too. I only used it with braces, I want to say a month and a half, because I got my braces off in September of 2019. But I didn't have an issue of it getting stuck on any of it, which I would find with a traditional toothbrush. My brush would get stuck on my back braces. If you've ever had braces, you know the wire goes through and you can feel it back here, and it would get stuck. I've never had that issue with the bamboo one, actually, as weird as that is. And so that's another pro. If you have braces, maybe look into it and it won't snag as much. I will say, I know a lot of people are used to their comfort grip right here for their thumb. That wasn't a big deal for me at all. And so that wasn't something I was concerned with. I know some people would be. And it's not bendy, I guess you could say. Plastic ones have a little bit of give to them. This does not, which hasn't ever bothered me, but maybe that's something to take into consideration for you if that would be an issue. I have a friend now who also has a bamboo toothbrush. I actually gave it to her for Christmas, and she's loving it too. I would say Brush with Bamboo is one of the higher end ones to do for a lot of reasons, including that they aren't sketchy, they actually are bamboo, they don't fall apart. I've also heard horror stories. That was too many H's in a row with R's for me. Anyways, of some cheaper ones on the market coming apart, fraying really quickly within the month or so. I will say they're a little bit more expensive than a plastic one, but I've also found, dentists recommend you change your brush every 3 to 4 months because they start to fray up here. And if you look at that, I believe I've been using this one 2.5 months. And I know with traditional toothbrushes at about the 1.5 point, I'd be like, ew. So they do last from that standpoint a little bit longer, for me anyways. I no longer have braces, but I do have permanent retainers on a back, top and bottom, and they don't get stuck on that at all either, which is really good because certain foods still get stuck back there. It's basically a brace wire, but instead of being braces, it keeps them in place. So from that standpoint, I've really liked it. And like I said, the only con is kind of the price to it. But and like I said, if you need that big giveaway, you feel like maybe not the best. But for me, it's worked perfectly, and I would not go back to plastic ones. I was trying to think of the word. Anyways, obviously with any toothbrush, you have to throw it out after a certain amount of time, so this isn't one of those things that you get to reuse forever and ever. But your plastic toothbrush from when you were a little kid is still sitting in a landfill somewhere, okay? And this can go into compost and break down. So instead of just sitting there, it will break down eventually, which is really good from the standpoint of it's not taking up space, it's not sitting there, it's not going to end up in an ocean. If it ends up in an ocean, it will break down. Not the best solution. It should still go in your backyard compost, but if something happens, things like that. And if you think about the fact that you use 4 toothbrushes a year because you use one every 3 months, and let's say you didn't use a toothbrush the first year of your life, but the average life expectancy is 70. I pulled that number out of my head. I know it's somewhere between like 65 and 80. But let's go 70. So 70 times 14, 4 is 280, okay? I had to think about that. Yes, 280 toothbrushes in your lifetime. So if you think about it, I transitioned to this toothbrush right before I turned 16. So 70 minus 16 is 54. I was gonna think that was the right number. So 54 times 4 right there is 5 times 4 is 20. So 216 toothbrushes are saved if I were to live to the age of 70 and continue to use this toothbrush, which I will. If I were to live past that, that's even more that aren't going to landfill, which is great. That means the oil industry also is not pulling oil for it or fracking for it, which is also a big issue when there is a different one. I will say I am low waste, zero plastic, zero waste, low plastic, but I will never say that there's not a place for plastic, okay? Certain medical situations, I don't know if I'd ever be okay with a reusable way, like needles, syringes, things like that. Also, at the end of the day, it'd be really cool if we could make a car out of nothing but reusable, sustainable materials, but think about it, you can't really do that most likely, or at least not in my lifetime. So I would like to be able to change ways where I can, and the environmental effects of pulling oil and fracking go to a different one that there is not a way to get around type of thing. So that's kind of why I make some of the switches I do personally. With that being said, it's definitely one of my easiest swaps that I've made and one of my favorites. And hopefully that also makes you consider at least trying one. and it doesn't make you scared of getting cavities. Hopefully it eases those fears. And feel free to comment or reach out on Instagram if you'll have any more questions. And also, I will put the link to Earth Hero below because that is where I get mine from. I don't know who else carries this specific brand of toothbrush. I know Amazon does, but Amazon is more expensive for it. Also, Amazon is Amazon. We don't support. Anyways, I will put Earth Hero, and I will put my code for Earth Hero for 10% off if you want to get this or any other things. Hopefully y'all enjoyed that. Bye, Sproutlings. Mwah.